Hello everyone, welcome back to a very special video. I'm DTM as always, and we have with us the refines and update of this August. This one is super hype because we have Seliph and Freyja receiving their remixes and refines, which I think we all know both of them desperately needed anything. So yeah, we also have a bunch of other ones like Echidna, Mareeta, and etc. And of course, we do have the stats and various other things in the data mine as well. But yeah, let us get into this. As always, if you like the content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that jazz to help support the channel. Only takes 5 seconds to subscribe, but truly does help this channel a lot. And I really do appreciate all the constant support. And yeah, so first up, we do have Seliph. And once again, thank you so much, Phoenix Master 1, for the graphic. Seliph had the distinction of literally being the worst legendary. So let's see what his refine does. Virtuous Tear Fang grants res +3 at start of combat if unit's HP is less than or equal to 99%, if foe's HP is greater than or equal to 75%, or if foe initiates combat. Inflicts attack defense -6 on foe, deals damage equals to 15% of unit's attack, and neutralizes effects that prevent units' counterattacks during combat. And also, if unit deals damage to foe during combat, restores HP to unit. So yeah, obviously this is very, very strong. Definitely a big upgrade from his base version. We have the true damage now. We still have the restoration of the HP. We also have no counter disrupt, which is really, really good, as we'll see later on in the refine. Like, him having a no counter disrupt works really well in what Seliph is trying to do. The refine effect is as follows. If unit initiates combat or is within 3 spaces of an ally, inflicts attack defense -5 on foe, and reduces damage from attacks by X% during combat. If foe uses magic or staff, X equals 80. Otherwise, X equals 40, excluding AoEs. If foe initiates combat, unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, unit's HP is greater than or equal to 50%, and foe would reduce unit's HP to 0 during combat. Unit survives with 1 HP. So yeah, here is the kicker. We have insane amount of damage reduction. 40% for most units, but 80 for like magic and staff users. So tome and staff users. And this is where the no counter disrupt works really well, because obviously staffs generally run razzle dazzle, and you get 80% damage reduction against staffs, and then you can counterattack regardless of the razzle dazzle, which is obviously really strong. And just having damage reduction in combination with the miracle is really, really good. Now, unfortunately, it's not like the miracle that Brave Seliph has. You do have to be above 50% HP, but it's not as bad as, say, Amir's drive miracle effect, where you have to be above 75% HP. Although, I will say, with this, like, it becomes really important that you're not facing up against like pre-charged specials like pre-charged Deadeyes or pre-charged Lethalities or pre-charged Special Spiral 4 units, because oftentimes they can get through, and then if, say, they're supported by Bratocatria, you can still go through them. Or have like Desperation or anything with like the new Desperation 4. But no, this is still really, really strong. And it gets even stronger with his Refine, which, one, you have Distant Ferocity, which is an upgrade to Distant Counter, which is always really nice. But you also get Holy War's End 2, which inflicts attack defense -5 on foe during combat. Unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack, and foe cannot make a follow-up attack, so we have the Omni Breaker there as well. And also, if foe initiates combat, unit attacks twice. So we have the Brave effect as well. And this is really, really good. Like, because of all these effects, most likely when initiating against Legendary Seliph should survive and be able to retaliate with a Brave hit, which is really, really strong, because not a lot of nukes will be able to survive that. Most damage reductions that nukes have are generally only for the first hit. So even though that, you know, the first hit might get damage reduced, the second hit of that Brave attack will be able to deal full damage. And with the true damage and everything, unless, you know, the nuke or whatever has like even more damage reduction that is just not on the first hit, Seliph will most likely be able to take those units out. Now, we do have like a bunch of bulky mages or like bulky nukes these days, like Valentine's Crom is still kicking around, but I think in the most case, like, Legendary Seliph should be able to handle them. And even though like Legendary Seliph is super slow, right? Like 17 speed is, you're not going to double, let's be real. But still, because of the NCD, you do not have to worry about getting windswept or water swept, or even just fire swept from something like Veronica. Now you do have to worry about desperation effects from a unit like Veronica, but again, because of the miracle and initial damage reduction, I don't think that is very likely. Or I guess from like Legendary Shez or something. So yeah, Legendary Seliph is actually good. Like actually really, really good. This is really, really good. Like, I don't think he'll be like top tier meta, but he's definitely very, very strong now. And you'll be able to find a lot of use for him. Especially in something like Arena. I think Legendary Seliph will be very good there. So I guess we'll have to pour one out for Legendary Ike, who has retaken the throne of worst Legendary. Poor Ike. Sorry, Oblivion. Anyways, let's move on to Freyja, who has the new Nightmare Horn. Grants speed +3, unit can counterattack regardless of foe's range. At start of combat, if foe's HP is greater than or equal to 50%, grants all stats +4 to unit during combat. If unit speed is greater than foe's speed, reduces damage from attacks during combat and from AoEs by percentage, max 40%. At start of turn, if unit... And then we have the Beast effect here, which is the newly upgraded Beast effect, which is really nice. And obviously you can probably like get the previous one if you like the impact effect or something. So yeah, I don't think a lot has changed from this besides the new transformation effect. We still have the damage reduction, you still have the distant counter, you have like attack all stats +4, which is really nice. But the refine effect is where things get interesting, because you get Canto Rem +1, you get Slaying, and at the start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants all stats +4 and full NFU. Now, this is pretty good for Freyja. Not only is Slaying really helpful if you're trying to run her as a Gale Force unit, having NFU and the weapon is also really nice to ensure that you get doubles. The thing is, though, is that, like, you aren't really getting any, like, special acceleration from this weapon. And yeah, you get, like, the damage reduction as well from the transformation effect, which is really nice, but, like, she doesn't have... I mean, I guess technically she does have still super high speed, but like as a cav, you generally don't have the stats, and you don't really have anything like guard to work as the enemy phase. And I think like IS tried to make this too mixed phase, I believe. This is still pretty good though. Like again, beforehand Freyja was probably among like the worst light mythics. This makes her, I think, decent. Of course, we still do have the remix, which she does get Speed Smoke 4 and newly Biting Necklace Plus, which removes the condition to transform, which is really, really nice. If a skill compares unit speed to a foe's or ally speed, treats unit speed as if granted +7. This is really, really good because as a cav, you normally can't have like the Phantom Speed, Close Call 4, Spurn 4, etc. So having this in the Binding Necklace Plus is really good. And then you get all stats +3 and all stats -3 on the foe. You get Tempo, which again helps really well for Gale Force. And you have the bonus dealer effect as well. So, you know, with the Phantom Speed, she can actually like very consistently get the well, actually, no, never mind. Because like, unfortunately, calves... Wait, can calves run Flashing Blade? I can't remember. Give me a second. I think it's flyers that can't run Flashing Blade. And yeah, okay, yeah. She cannot run Flashing Blade. It is only like infantry and armors. If Freyja was able to run Flashing Blade, this would have been super good for Gale Force. But like, unfortunately, she can't run Flashing Blade, and that is just so bad. You have to rely on Heavy Blade, which is very anti-synergistic, because you really want to take advantage of this Phantom Speed here to be able to run that. And so that is really unfortunate. She is better as like a tank now, but I don't think she's that good, especially as a cav. Don't get me wrong, she's still decent, and like, there are ways to give her special acceleration. You can like have Gnaw on the team, or something like that, but it is really disappointing that Freyja can't do that, and also like can't run Flashing Blade. Like, I'm so sad. I'm actually so sad. But yeah, I mean, the Kanto is really nice, helps with hit and run and stuff. But yeah, I don't think Freyja is particularly that good still. I think she's decent, I would say. Definitely far from meta. Like, you'd rather run Asker than Freyja. Like, Freyja, like, you'd rather run Peony, you'd rather run Ashe, I'd say, honestly. You probably even want to run, like, Dagger over Freyja, to be perfectly honest. So yeah, very unfortunate. Like, she's decent, but I don't think this is enough to make her, like, particularly strong. Anyways, next we have Spring Est with the new Eagle's Egg. Grants attack +3 if unit initiates combat or is within 2 spaces from ally. Grants all stats +5 to unit, neutralizes unit's penalties, and unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack during combat. The Refine effect is enables Kanto 1. At start of turn, inflicts defense res -6 and exposure on nearest foes within 5 spaces of unit and foes within 2 spaces of those foes through their next action. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants all stats +4 to unit during combat, and if penalty is active on foe, foe cannot counterattack. So this is really interesting, right? You have, like, basically all stats +5 up here. You have all stats +4 here with, like, all stats +9 effectively. And you can inflict exposure and a huge debuff, which is really, really nice. Exposure is really, really good support. And if you have the penalty, which should be easy to do with this inflicting of exposure, you get the sweep effect, which is obviously really, really good. Now, unfortunately, like, she doesn't really have anything else besides, like, the exposure and all these stat buffs. Like, Kanto 1 will definitely very help with the mobility options. And being able to sweep, of course, helps, like, with the survivability and everything, but I don't think this is enough to survive as a flying nuke. Flying mage nukes, like, the biggest downside to them is that they don't currently have a way to get through damage reduction, right? We don't have a mage special right now, and you can't run magic no follow-up 4, and so even with all the support, I don't think she'll be able to do that. Now this debuffs is really nice and all, but I don't think that is enough to make Spring Est work. She's going to be pretty good, or decent, I'd say, but definitely far from, like, a meta or strong mage nuke, I'd say. So yeah, still very interesting though. I like the support. You can theoretically use her just as a support unit to apply these debuffs, but I think you would rather have, like, other units be able to do that, like, I think Summer Thor inflicts exposure. I think that's the one. And you'd much rather have Summer Thor than Spring Est. I know, like, one unit can inflict exposure really easily. So yeah, that is Est Refine. Next we have is Ced. And Ced is really interesting with Winds of Seliph. Grants speed +3 if unit initiates combat or the number of allies adjacent to unit is less than or equal to 1. Grants attack speed +6 during combat to unit and inflicts penalty on foe's speed res during combat equals to 20% of unit speed at the start of combat. The Refine effect is at start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants attack speed +6, desperation, and special cooldown charge +1 per attack during combat to unit for 1 turn. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants attack speed +5 to unit during combat. So yeah, you get a bunch of... Well, I mean, I guess not a bunch, but you get a bunch of, like, status effects with this. Like, you get the Desperation status effect, you get the Special Acceleration status effect. Brave Crom will definitely appreciate that, because with this Infantry Speed Tactic, you can give Ced NFU as well and inherit basically, like, 3 stat buffs to increase those stat stacks on Brave Crom, which is really nice. But as a unit himself, like, Ced, the Desperation and Special Acceleration makes this really nice. If you combine this with, like, Magic No Follow-Up or Special Spiral 4 with, like, a short cooldown special like Moonbow or something, like, you can get this very consistently. Get the special charge. Excuse me. Get the special proc, or, like, I don't know. To get through the damage reduction. That's what I'm trying to say. Sorry. But, like, besides that, I don't think he really stands out as, like, a mage nuke. I mean, mage nukes are in a better standing now with Special Spiral 4 and Magic NFU. And Desperation is really, really nice. but I don't think he is able to cut it versus like a lot of the current like top tier mage nukes. Like it's just so strong competition wise, like right, like we have like Brave Lysithea, we have Dual Asker, we have Summer Emir even. There's a lot of mage nukes. We even have Braymon, I guess, if you really want to go that route. I do think Ced will be very strong with all of this, but you really need like Magic No Follow-Up, I think, to really like take advantage of this. But no, like overall, I think Ced is actually pretty good. It's just like not anything that we haven't seen before, really. So yeah, still pretty good. I like it. All right, next we have is Mareeta, and Mareeta's Refine effect is as follows. Accelerate special trigger. If unit initiates combat or the number of allies adjacent to unit is less than or equal to 1, grants all stats +4 to unit. Neutralizes effects that guarantee foe follow-up attacks and effects that prevent unit follow-up attacks. Neutralizes foes' bonuses to speed defense during combat. So yeah, we have full NFU, we have slaying, and we have neutralizing of bonuses. Refine is at start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 24%, grants all stats +4 to unit, neutralizes effects that inflict special cooldown charge -X on unit, and deals damage equals to 10% of unit speed during combat. And also, if unit's special triggers, excluding AoEs, neutralizes, reduces damage by X% effects from non-special skills. So yeah, we have full NFU and neutralizing bonus. We also have the offensive half a tempo, so she can't be guarded. All stats +4 here. True damage based off 10% of unit speed, which is really, really good. And of course, we have the, I want to say this is the Flavia effect or something like that, where if your special triggers, you can get through damage reduction, which is obviously really, really nice, right? Like, one of the main ways like nukes survive against like God Swords is with like damage reduction from things like Remote Sparrow or Brash Assault or things like that. But being able to cut through that when your special triggers, which you should be able to do with slaying and this offensive tempo, makes her into actually a pretty good God Sword. Like, actually really, really good. I don't want to say like she's like top tier meta, but she's actually pretty strong, I'd say. I mean, she's going to be as good as like every other God Sword, let's be real. And we've had plenty of God Swords, but still, you can definitely make her work really, really well. Alright, next we have is Echidna, and Echidna is very interesting with Western Axe. If unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, grants all stats +4 to unit, reduces damage from foe's first attack by 30%, and unit's next attack deals damage equals to total damage reduced during combat. So we have the damage reducing retaliation effect that is similar to like Vengeance or Feorm, for example. The Refine effect, though, is where things get interesting, because it's if foe initiates combat or foe's HP is greater than or equal to 75% at the start of combat, grants bonus to units attack, speed, defense, res equals to current penalty on each of those stats times 2 + 4, and grants special cooldown charge +1 to unit per attack during combat. So yeah, she gets Unity in her weapon. This is basically like Fallen Ike. And not only that, she gets special acceleration, she gets damage reduction, and we all know how well you can stack Unity if you have a unit like Legendary Robin supporting you, right? You could just stack that to oblivion. So Echidna is actually really, really cracked, especially considering the fact that she's a demote. Like, this is actually insane for a demote unit. Now, the one thing holding her back is the lack of slaying. Like, the lack of slaying really hurts her. She really, really would have appreciated that. You could like have her with Vital Astra or Godlike Reflexes, for instance, which would have been really, really nice. But like regardless, like this is still very, very strong, especially when you consider this a demo. Like, this is actually insane. Like, all the Ross fans wishes Ross got this. Like, we got how we go from Ross to Echidna. I will say, like, 36 speed is definitely not the highest speed these days, so you might have trouble reaching the speed thresholds if you do not have Legendary Robin to support you, or you do not, or you're not like stacking Unity and have a debuff on speed. But if you have like Legendary Robin, it should be like totally fine. And yeah, Echidna is actually really cracked now. Oh my goodness. Alright, last but not least, we do have Travant with Freyja, King Lance. Neutralizes effective against flying bonuses. If foe initiates combat or foe's HP is greater than or equal to 75% at start of combat, grants all stats +4 to unit. Inflicts attack -X on foe, X being 15% of unit's defense at start of combat. And inflicts special cooldown charge -1 on foe per attack during combat. So nice. We have Guard. We have what I like to call like the shell effect-ish. I don't think it's as good as shell since it's only like 15% of unit's defense, which is probably going to be like less than 10, so it's not as bad as like shell, but still decently strong. But the Refine effect is at start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants all stats +4 to unit. Unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack and grants special cooldown charge +1 to unit per attack during combat. So yeah, we have Guard and special acceleration. This is really nice. So I think Travant could work as like a guard bearing for guidance for sort of like flying frontline. Being able to not be affected by bows is really, really nice. Although if you are like running a save unit in something like Summoner's Duels, then obviously that doesn't matter as much, but it's still really nice. The problem with this though is that I think there's just a lot better options you can use versus Travant. Like I personally would prefer running Cynthia or maybe even like Summer Male Shez as this, and obviously you can also get those in the Grails as well. And yeah, that's the main issue I have with Travant. The main thing he has is the Guard and this stat deflection and the Io's shield built in. But personally, I think I'd prefer Cynthia's unity stacking with something like Legendary Robin. But no, still like Travant is still going to be very strong. And yeah, like very nice. Definitely not meta by any means, but you know, you can definitely use him in like SD and he'll work perfectly fine. But yeah, those are the weapon refines. Honestly, a pretty stacked batch, if I do say so for myself. Like, Legendary Seliph obviously is just insane with the refine. Like, 0 to hero, I'd say. I don't think he will be, like, top-tier meta, but he'll definitely be very, very strong. Freyja, unfortunately, is held back by the fact that she can't run Flashing Blade, she does not have special acceleration, and as a tank, I don't think she can really do that much still. She does have full NFU, which is really nice, but yeah. Still decent, I guess. Spring Est, also pretty decent. And Mareeta is another God Sword. She'll be strong, but like, we've already seen this. Echidna is super cracked for demos, and then Travant, yeah, will be decent as well. When it comes to ranking the refines, like, I do think Legendary Seliph definitely like won this. Like, Seliph is either going to be an S tier or an A tier, personally. We'll have to wait and see. Like, I think it's a toss-up between S and A. I could see it going either way. For now, I'll put him in A just like as a precaution because we'll have to wait and see how he does and whether or not him not having a player phase affects him all that much as a Cav. Mareeta is like another God Sword, going to be very strong, but it's not like we've seen that before. Definitely not one of the meta ones like Summer Fjorm or Lucia or anything like that. And then Echidna is super stacked. It is so unfortunate that she does not have Slaying, but like even still, she'll be super strong. And yeah, we have S, Ced, and Travant in B. All of them are pretty decent. I don't think any of them are meta breaking or anything, but definitely usable. And then Freyja is last in B. Honestly, I'm probably between C and B, I would say. I really wish she had special acceleration. That would have made her so much better. I guess for now we'll put him in B because I'm nice. But yeah, that is not all we have in this data mine. We also have the stats for the new banner. I think we've seen this mostly in the FEH channel, but I don't think it's anything too surprising, right? Like, we have super high attack and speed for Ira, super high attack and speed for Lysithea. I think this is a new attack barrier, maybe. Or maybe we already had 46 attack, I don't know. We also have middling speed for Sigurd. This is a really awkward speed because it's not at the point where you can speed stack to like get consistent doubles, but you're also not like stacking this so that, you know, you have better defenses. So this is kind of an awkward speed level. Honestly, like, Sigurd, not the greatest, although his like special is obviously really good with the extra movement. It's just that we're on like a Guidance 4 meta right now. Who knows, maybe Gatekeeper will bring Sigurd's extra movements back up. Ferdinand is a demote, so we don't really care about him. And then yeah, Tail 2, very high attack and speed as always. And yeah, pretty straightforward if I do say so myself. We do have skills. Ferdinand does come with Speed Res plus, Rally Speed Res plus, which is really nice. Wind Sweep here is not 5-star locked, so that is really cool. Speed Res Rain is 5-star locked, but he is the demote, so hopefully you won't be going for him just for the fodder. And then yeah, we have Tea-Cake Tower. We have Reciprocal Aid. Stillwater is 5-star locked, but it is still really good that we can get this. I recently got an Ivy, so if I do fodder her, like this will be super good for the inheritance chain. And then yeah, Drive Attack is as expected. Everyone can inherit Desperation 4. No surprises there. Chivalric Aura is a perf as expected. Supreme Astra is also a perf. I remember Oblivion like memeing about how IS is going to make Supreme Astra inheritable by everyone, like Vital Astra, but this is not the case. And yeah, Flow Desperation, as expected, is only available to melee, flyers, and calves. When are ranged flyers ever going to get anything? Like, seriously. It's so sad. But yeah, we also have new maps for Ether Raids. Honestly, they're not really good. This is pretty bad. This is also pretty bad, so you'll probably not see them too often. But yeah, overall, those are the refines and datamine updates that we have for this time around. And yeah, very interesting and honestly pretty stacked batch. I don't think any of them are particularly bad. Honestly, my main disappointment is the fact that Freyja does not have special acceleration. I think that's like the one thing she like would have really appreciated that she did not already have. But still, like with Kanto, and like the tempo, she's decent at least. And unless like I'm completely misreading anything, and she does have like special acceleration somewhere, and I'm just like missing that. Actually, hold on, give me a second. Does this have special acceleration? No, yeah, didn't think so. But yeah, like there are ways to give her special acceleration. It just would have been nice to have it in her weapon initially. But yeah, Legendary Seliph, actually really strong unit now. Very good, very good. You'd love to see it. Mareeta and Echidna. Mareeta is going to be very strong. Echidna is insane for a demote. And the rest are not bad. They're decent at the very least. And yeah, overall, very cool batch. Yeah, if you do enjoy this analysis, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that jazz to help support the channel. Only takes 5 seconds to subscribe, but truly does help out this channel a lot, and I really do appreciate all the constant support. Let me know down in the comments what is your favorite refine out of this batch, and what you are most excited for. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and see you all next time. Bye everyone!